Chapter 3, The Unbreakable Bond and the Unforgettable Storm. The next year, as Bob stepped into his sophomore year at 15, life in Parkerville seemed to accelerate. He was still the starting quarterback for the Lancers and a key player on the baseball team. His days a blur of practices, games, and relentless pursuit of understanding the atmosphere. But new dimensions were opening up beyond the fields. That fall, Bob gathered his courage and asked Emma to the homecoming dance. From that night on, a new rhythm entered his life. Their walks through the school hallways, shared laughs during study sessions, and quiet moments under the Friday night lights, watching his games, all solidified their connection. Bob and Emma were officially dating, and her presence brought a bright, steady joy to his world. It was also during those intense football practices that Bob forged an unbreakable bond with a teammate named Jarvis. Jarvis, with his easygoing nature and quick wit, quickly became Bob's best friend. He understood Bob's obsession with the sky, even if he didn't always grasp the science behind it. The biggest shift in Bob's independence arrived on his 16th birthday. The moment he got his driver's license, the world suddenly seemed boundless. One sunny Saturday, with his dad, Trevor's car keys jingling in his pocket, Bob rounded up Emma and Jarvis. They had pooled their savings allowance money and bought a decent video camera, dreaming of capturing the very forces that captivated Bob. As if on cue, the prairie sky began to broad. A severe thunderstorm was forming, towering on the distant horizon. The familiar surge of anticipation, a mix of excitement and deep respect, pulsed through Bob. This was their chance. This was their first storm chase. They drove, following the storm's angry advance. The camera clutched tight in Jarvis's hand. Emma navigated with a weather app on her phone, and Bob's eyes glued to the sky and the road. The storm pulsed with lightning, and the wind began to howl, pulling at the car. Then, as they carefully positioned themselves on a dirt road, far enough to be safe, but close enough to witness, it appeared. It wasn't just a funnel. This was a colossal, churning pillar of darkness, roaring with a sound that swallowed the entire world. Debris spun within its monstrous vortex, and the very air around them vibrated with its raw power. It was an EF5 tornado, a generational storm tearing a path through the distant landscape with terrifying, silent efficiency. Bob instinctively knew the scale of what they were seeing. The force of it was unlike anything he had ever experienced. Even his childhood EF1 now seemed a distant whisper compared to the screaming titan Jarvis filmed, his hands trembling, while Emma gripped Bob's arm, watching in stunned, terrified awe. The distant, churning destruction was a visceral reminder of nature's terrifying might. A couple of years later, the echoes of that terrifying, magnificent EF5 still resonated within them. Bob, Emma, and Jarvis walked across the stage, graduating from Parkerville High. Their paths, once varied, now converged with singular purpose. Together they packed their bags, leaving the Kansas prairies for Norman, Oklahoma, their destination, the University of Oklahoma, where all three of them enrolled, ready to embark on their next chapter of their lives, dedicated to studying meteorology. Their shared dream of understanding the sky was finally taking flight.